Free TV, in association with getoutofdebtfree.org.
Eviction battle fails in court. Well, did it? Let's find out.
Let's go and have a word with Tom.
Good idea. You know, before we go to Tom's,
Yeah.
have you seen this?
More bull.
Okay, careful, yeah.
From
What's
the
that smell?
post.
Is it pigs? Is it sheep? No, it's bulls. I will not be going anywhere. Cancer patient, they always use the word cancer, don't they, just to get you going. Cancer patient loses court case but still refuses to give up home. By the wonderful Ellie Cullen.
Oh, that woman it was explained to her 15 times.
Yeah.
3 by Tom, 12 by Guy, why it was a victory. And just watch the video and you can see it's a victory. But
So, here we could... I'm going to read it to you. You won't believe this. This is absolute media lies, OK? Have a listen to this. By Ellie Cullen. And you've seen her on one of his videos outside the court when Tom got the victory. The man who's battled to defend his home from bailiffs sparked mass protests in Carlton has lost his court case.
there were no protests.
He's lost his court case.
There were no protests.
There were no protests, but has vowed to fight on. I can't believe I'm reading these lies. Cancer patient Tom Crawford is no longer a cancer patient, has been embroiled in a dispute with Bradford and Bingley Bank over his mortgage. But yesterday a judge refused to give him permission to appeal against a possession order issued for his home, meaning bailiffs can now legally seize it. Did it say that?
I think she's on crack.
Well, she's definitely on something, or otherwise... what school did you go to, Ellie? Are you illiterate? Don't you compute or hear what other people tell you? Or do you just make this up as you go along? Mr. Crawford has always maintained that the mortgage arrangement was changed without his knowledge. Well, it was changed to interest only.
As he showed in his evidence where he showed you the documents.
Yeah, he showed it to the judge. The judgment was delivered at Nottingham County Court by Judge Nigel Godsmark, QC, following a full hearing on May the 1st. Despite claims on social media that Mr. Crawford had won the case, the judge was unequivocal.
Where does she get this from? She's got to be on crack. That's the only excuse. Crack.
It goes on to say, he said the points made by Mr. Crawford are either without foundation or legally misconceived. Factual assertions about changing the terms of the mortgage are misplaced. The legal challenges raised are misconceived. This is utter gibberish. Permission to appeal is refused. The suspension of exclusion of the warrant for possession of his home is lifted.
Yes, that's because there was proved fraud, so that the case is irrelevant anyway. The case is thrown out. There's no need to appeal because...
Ellie, it's lifted. It's a victory. Yeah, he hasn't lost his home. Where else is it? He also said the reason Mr. Crawford owed money because he no longer had an endowment policy which would have repaid the capital borrowed.
Well, where did it go then, this endowment policy? Because they've just said there he no longer had an endowment, so he must have had one at some point.
Yeah. He also said the reason Mr. Crawford owed money was because he no longer had an endowment policy. No, it was an interest-only policy.
Well,
So
they
that's
changed
correct.
it to an interest-only policy.
You've really bent the words, Ellie. He added Mr. Crawford was offered the means to repay capital by way of a repayment mortgage, but refused. Really? Page 6.
And this is why you cannot trust the media whores.
The judge sympathised with the family who lived in their home Fernchase for 25 years, saying he could understand their desperation. He added, although this case is unique to Mr. Crawford, it is sadly one of many similar cases, yeah, there's a lot, with many which courts deal all the time. It raises no new point of principle, really. However, outside court, Mr. Crawford said he would continue to fight for justice. Did he? We're going to have to go and see him now. He said the fight is not just for me, not just for my family, it's for our friends and anyone in our position. He also said he did not believe the bailiff will be turning up anytime soon. Well, the judge has already said that he's won the case.
Yeah.
It says they can't have his home. Mr. Crawford added, we can take the fight to them. If they come, I will not be going anywhere. No, he didn't.
That was lies as well. He said if they come, he'll arrest them.
Yeah. At yesterday's hearing, which lasted less than 5 minutes, Mr. Crawford was accompanied by family and close friends. Daughter Amanda Pike, 36, says we are always fully behind him. They always put the age in, don't they? We're not going away, we've got the proof. I can't remember him saying that. A spokesman for UK Asset Resolution, Criminals,
Owned by the government.
which acts on behalf of the banksters Bradford and Bingley, said the court had ruled that the Crawfords' appeal did not have any prospects of success. Bradford and Bingley have followed proper legal procedure, and we have an enforceable possession order. And the judge called that fraud, didn't he?
Yeah.
Although he's not reported it
Ellie,
to the serious fraud court.
Stop taking the crack. It's not doing you any good whatsoever.
Maybe just have an ice cream, Ellie. Let's go and speak to Tom. I've had enough of this.
Yep, let's go.
Where did he come from?
Where did we come from?
This one. We've got a movie star in the car.
Where'd you come from?
It's Tom the Hat, Mr. Crawford. How you doing,
Hello,
Tom?
lads.
You all right, mate? Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Where you've got some good news.
Oh, brilliant.
That's why we're smiling.
Yeah. Finally, we got a result from the court, and it was justice for a change.
Praise the Lord.
Not just us.
No, not just us. The thing is, people say, oh, it's justice from the court, but we took justice from them. It wasn't given.
Even the ruling, though, was very convoluted.
It was. It's very confusing for the average person, and that's why they do that, to confuse people.
What was it typed in? Gibberish? Is that a language? Or was it legalese or something like that?
Legalese, you've heard of Confucius. This is confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy Confucius.
Well, we was in the pub afterwards, and you explained it over the phone to the Evening Post reporter 3 times, and she still didn't get it.
Nope.
Then we go the phone to Guy, and he explained it to her 12 more times, and she still couldn't get it.
Why do the Evening Post employ illiterates? Is she illiterate? Or just doesn't understand? Or is it her arms tied around her back for some reason that she can't report what's actually correct and what's happened?
So, if you want to explain to everyone what the key points of it were and how it is a victory, even though most that would read the whole 10 or 12 pages would be so confused they would think it wasn't.
Okay. The judgment from Gosmark, who's the judge, he said we were given permission to appeal out of time, but no permission to appeal.
Look, just before you go on there, so the actual case itself was just about the appeal to appeal out of time?
No, it ended up being both at the same time, the one on the 1st of May.
Okay.
We weren't told that, but they carried on doing that. So basically, when he gave us permission to appeal out of time, he realised that, unlike most cases, we had merit.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second part, because fraud was found in the documentation and the judge himself had lost jurisdiction of the actual case itself, we didn't have to appeal because there was nothing to appeal. Because when there's fraud found anywhere, it means it's ab initio, right back from the start. Nothing can come from fraud.
Then how come the judge didn't report this to the Serious Fraud Squad?
Who knows?
Should it be reported? Should serious fraud be reported?
Well, let's hope...
or are they just all in it together?
Well,
we're already on it. But, yeah, that's the confusion. And the majority of people that get these decisions simply start appealing and shouting. But we went into court, sat down, the judge turned up, he pronounced his judgment. Within 3 minutes, he said, Mr. Crawford, you got anything to say? And I thanked him on the behalf of my family, my friends, myself, and the public at large, and he couldn't have done a better job. His face started distorting, as if it was something going seriously wrong with it. He stood up and walked out, and Paul King, who's the manager of the court, he just said, "Is that it?" and looked around in astonishment. We all stood up, smiled, and said bye-bye.
Is there any chance of claiming your expenses back?
That's coming.
yeah, that'll probably be tagged on to something else.
Yes.
Absolutely bizarre to me is that the judge said that fraud had been committed, but did nothing about it at all.
He didn't actually say it. He sort of skirted around it, so he knows it is, but he doesn't want to come out and say that the barristers have committed fraud. So they look
Okay.
after each other. Can you tell us, when you first read it, what did you think?
I took it as, oh dear, I've lost. But then Mr. Ebert, who's that fine gentleman down in London,
I've seen his
looked at it,
videos.
and he started laughing. He went through 60 points with me, and he said this is absolutely hands down win. It's totally the best win he's seen for a long, long time.
Ah.
Mm.
And so how did the banksters cover their own backs? What did they say?
Well, here's the thing now. Their spin doctor came out and he said, we have a legitimate warrant to take our property, and we've followed the legal process correctly. Well, I'd like to ask them, if that be so, produce the request for a possession order, produce the possession order, produce the receipt that you actually paid to start it all, produce the claim for a warrant, the payment for the warrant, and the warrant itself, and on top of that, produce the note that the appointed bailiff. All those things are in the public domain. If they've followed the correct procedure, it will be there. Just produce it, and we'll see.
And if I'm not incorrect here, doesn't there also need to be a sworn affidavit attached to the warrant?
Yes, but this is it. Produce that, because we've asked, the MPs have asked, everyone's asked, and the judge referred to it, but he's never seen one.
Are you aware that the Magna Carta, section 40, says that we can't sell or charge for any justice because it's already paid for? But you know, when you go in the courts, what do? When you take your paperwork in, you have to pay.
Yep.
You have to make payment.
Well, the reason being is because you won't get justice.
I thought it was only just us.
Yes.
Anyway, Tom, so you're going to get, you and Sue going to be able to keep your house?
Yes, well, the whole thing's been
this
fraudulent.
fantastic news.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well done, mate.
And it's
Well
not
done, my
because
friend.
of
Thank you
what
so
we've been
much.
doing, or even Mr. Ebert, although he's had the biggest input, and Guy, and that chap Mark Salon, he's around sometime.
Never heard of him.
Well, it's all the people that came along to help us.
Well, that's
They're
also,
the heroes.
all three of us would like to say thank you to everybody that supported us, and Tom,
Yep.
and Sue and his family and everything. You know, you've really gone out of your way, even staying overnight to protect his home. You know, we bow in your presence. Just thank you so much. Thank you so much. We love you. Plant a seed.
Like
We
Craig,
really do.
like Craig said yesterday, or the day before, maybe even, you guys are what's made the difference.
Yep.
I am Ra.
Power of the people.
Thanks, everybody. We love you all. And great news, Tom. Great
Thanks
news.
a lot. And
Thanks, mate.
from a family, thank you too. Cheers.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.